Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dr. Jason Jones back with another episode of Health Made Easy, and I have a special treat for you this week. We have a guest on our show, Miss Sara Banta. She is a health coach and a busy mom of three children who are now 12, 14, and 16. She graduated with her undergraduate studies from Stanford with a degree in economics and psychology in 1998 and 2016. She graduated from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which I also graduated from as well. And she also graduated from the Invincible wellness system. So through her journey, she has had to solve many health issues with her family, including her son, who is suffering from leukemia at the age of 9, her daughter having allergies, anemia, and asthma, her husband having heart issues, her other daughter having comprehension and learning issues, in addition to headaches. This is, of course, on top of her own issues with fertility, hormones, adult acne, IBS, digestive issues, heavy metals, and so much more. She has had to connect the dots and realize what was causing all of these issues and what the solutions were, which also, of course, involved the mind-body connection. A lot of the same issues or a lot of the same solutions that heal the gut or the brain are the same solutions that help with healthy eyesight. With that being said, she's devoted her life to providing guidance and all natural health supplements and solutions that heal the body and the problems, not just addressing the symptoms of her clients. So, you guys hang in there for the entire podcast. We have something special for you at the end. Just make sure that you hang in. And here we go with our interview with Miss Sara Banta. All right, well, welcome back to Health Made Easy. I am super excited for our guest today. We have Miss Sara Banta on the podcast today, and as you heard in the intro, you heard a little bit about her, but I'm going to have her introduce herself and tell you guys about who she is as a person, as a professional. And then we will get into the deep details of what we're going to touch on today with her. So, Sara, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Jason, for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, me too. So tell our listeners just a little bit about you and, just sort of who you are, as a mom. I know you're busy, you got three kids, but you're also a professional. So fill us in a little bit on you.
Well, I'll go back to kind of where this all stemmed from because I went to Stanford. I was going to study economics and psychology, or I did, and I was going to go into real estate and thought everything was just going to go in the right direction. I'm very goal-oriented, so I thought, oh gosh, life is going to be great, get my career going, get married, have kids, and everything will look smooth and awesome. And that's not the way it went. I started having kids in my mid-20s, and my health always was a little rocky, digestion issues ever since I was young. Always thought I was a little weird. I was very picky with my food. I had a family that ate a lot of sugar, a lot of carbs. I wasn't able to do so without suffering the consequences. And you get away with a lot more when you're younger than when you're older, especially back in the day when their foods were even cleaner than they are now. And as I started having kids, with every pregnancy, my health got worse and worse, and I had no energy. And by kid number 3, my body was completely depleted. So I went to the doctors. They put tubes up me, down me, around me, major stomach issues, and they gave me no answers. They said, "Oh, you've got IBS," and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to settle for that answer. So I found a natural practitioner who hooked me up to a machine called the Skio, and this machine essentially hooks you up and tests for 10,000 items in your body. So it'll give you answers to where your vitamins, your minerals, your liver, your kidneys, everywhere, where everything is in your body. It even will go into your emotions, which was very cool. it was like peeling an onion. It'll tell you the most important and biggest issues you have. And once you kind of clear those, then other things will pop up. So I had not only on the verge of Crohn's disease, but my hormones were completely out of whack. Had PCOS. I was really high in heavy metals, which I think you were as well with mercury, correct?
Mercury and lead, yes.
Yes, so I was off the charts with mercury, lead, and aluminum, and which can make you crazy, and copper, by the way, which is a funny one where you've got to balance and make sure you have enough copper, but the right kind. So it was definitely a journey of figuring all of that out, and through that process, I learned, Sarah, you're not that weird. You're not supposed to eat gluten. You're not, dairy's not meant for most human beings. It's okay to cut those things out. And so I started doing that. I had confirmation from people in the natural world, like it's okay to not eat these things and be okay with it. Where, like I said, my family and the people around me at the time were eating pizza and Coke and beer and feeling great, which just didn't work for me. So as I went along and I came across a supplement called, it's now called Accelerated Silver. And I knew it was powerful in killing viruses and bacteria if you got sick, but I really didn't understand the full power of it until my son, who's my oldest, was 9 years old and in third grade. And here's a kid that loves sports, he loves school, and he was just going along, but then really did not want to do anything, wanted to lay around in the house, and was having headaches. And we hooked him up to the machine, and the skio machine, that is, and leukemia came up, and it was beyond devastating. We then went and had a live blood cell test done where you actually look at the blood underneath the microscopes. And not only was he anemic, he was nutritionally deficient of all the B vitamins. His blood was very acidic, which I'm sure you know, that's just a breeding ground for all disease, including cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were all the cancer cells. And he just looks at me as I'm trying to not cry in front of him and says, "Well, I'm not worried, Mom, you're going to fix me." Well, back then, I thought I was doing everything right. I was feeding him as well as I thought I should be, and I didn't know what more I could do. We started him on the accelerated silver throughout the day, and I saw him come back to life a little bit, but I really didn't trust the results until we hooked him up and saw the blood underneath the microscope a year later. And not only were the cancer cells gone, but the anemia was gone, the nutritional deficiencies were all gone. It was just beautiful blood. The cells were nice and plump and healthy and dark, and it just was. I sat there going, "Oh my gosh, I've got something here, and I have to share it with the world," because my friends and family are sending their kids to the doctor and putting them on antibiotics for a little sniffle. And it was killing me. So that was the beginning of where I thought, okay, this is my calling. I really need to reach out and help people, but I also need to educate myself more. So I started talking more about the silver, and along the way, I got into looking into other supplements, Ayurvedic, and Chinese medicine. And as you know, along the way too, I had my two other kids, my two daughters had health issues. My one was anemic, allergic to a lot of things, dietary and environmental, and she was always sick. So no, she did not have leukemia, but if someone got a cold that lasted 2 to 3 days, it would last 4 weeks with her, and she'd just be miserable. So I had to figure out solutions for her. And my other daughter had issues with comprehension. And this is something that my other two were like, okay, so if their immune systems are weak, but they were great in school. My third, she had issues with learning, and I thought, gosh, God is giving me five people in my family, me, my husband, my three kids, a whole set of different issues, forcing me to learn about how to combat all of this and figure it out. And when I figured out my son's issue, and I truly believe I healed him, and he's as strong as a horse now, has not been sick with the cold or flu since third grade, and he's almost 17 years old. So he has not missed a day of school. He has not been on an antibiotic, and that is what, 8 years later. So I'm thinking, okay, there's every challenge is a green light for me to figure something out. I don't see these challenges as a negative, and it's just my clue that I need to continue on on my learning curve and find these solutions, because for some reason I need to help someone else out there. And that's what's been awesome, is that every time that I find an issue in my own family and I find the solution, somehow the way the universe works, I will have another stranger or client come up to me and say they have the same issue, and I will know how to help them. Um, along the way, I did go back to school and got my certificate from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and then another schooling that helps you become your own doctor with natural supplements and Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine. And what was amazing during those years of learning was I realized I knew 95% of what they were teaching me, just because of my searching and learning from my mentor and just doing my own education, which was very reassuring that I can now go out and help others.
Absolutely.
So yeah. And so with all of that, I've created this business where I am a health coach. But I help people with diet, nutrition advice, but also with supplements that are all natural, only things that have no side effects and will only boost and strengthen the immune system so that your own body can heal itself. And I really focus on detox and rebuilding. Um, and that's where I am today. We've got so many more issues that we're facing today than we were even 10 years ago, with the EMFs and chemtrails and 5G coming, that it's just got a whole new set of problems that the world's facing. And I'm trying to tackle it and use it as a challenge and go after it the way I've gone after everything else.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. And it's one of those things where, yes, there's like positives and negatives. Like there's convenience with many of these things, but they're also untested in terms of how they're going to affect, our bodies. And I'm glad you brought up the chemical, the chemical thing, the environmental thing. I mean, we have, approximately 1,500 new chemicals, put into the environment every single year. Approximately 10 of those are tested, and none of them are tested synergistically, meaning like we put two of them together to see like what's going to happen, and certainly none of them are tested. And you couldn't, or nobody would sign up for it. Test them on a human to see how we would, how we may react to that. But I think that's amazing that you had those opportunities with your family, with your children to, take them from, basically going on, they were on the way down, and were able to turn it around and bring it back up. And I'm with you. I see it the same way. It's kind of like the master, or whatever that thing is. When the student is ready, the master will appear. It's just like the people will come into your life when you're ready to be able to take care of them.
Yes.
So every time you get that new one, that new ability, those people just magically show up, ready for it. So,
Yeah.
what was how do you spell that machine? Skio?
Scio, SCIO. And something that I'll just mention real quick, the SKIO machine is amazing at diagnosing you with very specific things. But what I've come, you have to find a practitioner that's schooled in, and you may be able to. People contact me and say, "Well, I live in Virginia. Is there a practitioner there that you know of?" I don't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have one in Newport Beach that's available, but that's about it. But what I want to give people is there's a new machine that I have, and it's an in-home machine because the SKIO machine is, I think, $20,000 to $30,000, so it's
Yeah.
not something that someone's going to go out and buy. But the amp coil is, and this is on my website, information on how to research that. That is something that doesn't diagnose you as specifically as the SKIO, but it gives great, it shows you what in your body is out of balance. So for instance, it will tell you it has a nutritional profile, say, oh, you need more gut flora, or your electrolytes are low, or your minerals are low. And then your organs, it'll tell you, oh, your gallbladder and liver need more attention. But then the amazing part is then it has a category called cleanse, where it'll say you are fighting this virus, you're fighting this bacteria, you've got Lyme disease, you've got biological warfare, your body's fighting that off. And the treatment, or how it then brings your body back into balance, is actually amplified. It's stronger than the SKIO machine. So to put your body back in balance is actually a better tool than the SKIO machine. And this is new to me in the last year, and I have it personally. We use it every day. It makes me feel great. You can use it for just relaxing the body. You can do a brain treatment. You can do a sleep program. It uses technology, or Tesla technology, and it's a targeted pulsed electromagnetic field device. So anyways, that's something that is more affordable at about less than $8,000.
Yeah.
And that's something that I can get people in contact with around the country if they want to test it out. So that was one thing I wanted to mention. And back to your point of them not testing these different toxins in the environment. I just wanted to, I literally watched Congress talk about 5G and say, well, we want to be the head of the race, and we are not going to wait to see what the research is going to come back with. At the same time, the EPA, quote unquote, says small amounts of radiation over a long time raises your risk of cancer. So they're talking out of both sides of their mouth, and they are just gung ho, want to be the world leader, and not worried about anything else.
Yeah, and that is totally unfortunate. And I think it's one of those things where, we have to educate ourselves, or, have a health coach that is in the know on these things, that can give us the information and give us like the tips and the tools and the strategies to protect ourselves, protect our families, protect our kids, for sure. Because I know that, when it comes to your family's health, I mean, you're definitely on top of it. I know that, there's, so many areas that you focus on. And one of the things for us, on Health Made Easy, the reason I named it that is not because getting healthy is necessarily easy, but I do like to keep it simple and have like very practical steps that people can take. So when you look at taking care of your family, because you've got essentially 3 teenagers. What are the main areas that you focus on? Do you focus, is it, diet? Is it like emotional health? Is it, and what are maybe a few things that you key in on to make sure that, your kids are doing on a regular basis to help them stay well?
So that's a multi-prong approach,
Mm-hmm.
but one thing that my practitioner reminded me of when I first went to him and my health was just a disaster, right? And everyone around me thought, "Oh, you need to be on Prozac. You're depressed." And I always said, "Well, I'm not depressed. I just don't feel good." And he said to me, the first time I ever saw him was, "We need to give you a physical, strong foundation for you then to become strong mentally, spiritually, and be able to be productive and grow as a person." So whenever someone comes to me, and this is the way I treat my children and my husband, we need to make sure their diet and nutrition are strong. I mean, my middle daughter, who is not always healthy, or was anemic, and we used to call her Loopy Lucy because it was like you were talking to a wall, and she's not going to be able to focus and concentrate on a conversation if she doesn't have the right vitamins and nutrition in her body to feel good and to get the blood to her brain and to make sure everything's in balance. So number one is diet and supplements. And unfortunately, in our world today, our food is so depleted of the vitamins and minerals that we need. You have to supplement. It's unfortunate that it's that way, but you just have to supplement.
Yeah.
So I really keep them on a low carb diet, even them. We've cut out all the sugar. Gluten is 90% out of the house. And well, I should say it's 100% out of the house, but when we go out, if they have a piece of bread or whatever, they're fine, and it's a treat. And they have dessert, but it's the low carb dessert, low sugar dessert, and that sort of thing. And then with supplements, the accelerated silver is a must. All three of my kids, since Jackson was 9 years old, so like I said, 8 years ago, all three of my kids going to elementary, junior high, and high school. That includes playing water polo in the pool at 9 at night. They have not been to the doctor for a sickness. They have not been on an antibiotic, and it is due to the accelerated silver. It kills all viruses, bacteria, fungus, and what I recommend people do is look up the benefits of silver in general, as it's been known since the ancient times of Hippocrates. People used it all the time, and I believe it was used as a natural antibiotic until true antibiotics, prescription antibiotics, came out, and the government wanted to shut down the use of silver. And so it is a natural antibiotic, antiviral agent, and can be used in a thousand different ways. And I can't speak to that here and about the accelerated silver, but what I would tell you is any use that you see on Google, Dr. Google, you can use the accelerated silver for. But the accelerated silver, what makes it different is it has a proprietary applied vibrational frequency to it. So not only does it have the benefits of silver, but it also is treated with vibrational frequency that cancels out the negative frequencies in your body. So it's just amplified. The healing abilities are amplified over any other. And then the other big benefit over any other silver is that it can get through the gut barrier. So if you're thinking about dietary supplements, and a lot of them can be destroyed in the stomach acid. So if you were to go to the doctor, for instance, and you had a spider bite and it was deadly, they're going to give you an IV of antibiotics. They're not going to give you an oral one because that will never get to the source, correct? So
Yeah.
with this is actually getting through your whole system into every area where it needs to go. So that is the other major benefit.
So is it? Sorry to interrupt. Is it a daily thing, or is it more like when there's an issue or something?
Personally, I take it at least 4 times a day, just because I feel, and this is not, I can't say that it's been proven or make any claims, but I feel not only am I not ever going to get sick, and I haven't been sick in over 10 years, but I feel energy from it. I feel clarity in my brain. I have people reporting their absorption of other vitamins and minerals increases. Um, I people believe that it has anti-aging properties. So those are just things that are reported to me and that I personally feel, but I can't say that that's what is happening. If you take it two to three times a day, you're going to keep yourself from getting sick. If you take it more, you're going to feel even better.
Gotcha.
And that's something that my kids and my husband and I take every single day. It's a no-brainer. Tastes like water, looks like water, can be safely taken by the young and the old. And there's no side effects. If someone drinks the whole bottle, it's going to waste their money, but it's not going to do any harm. So it's pretty awesome. And then the other thing that is absolutely a non-negotiable is my acceleradine iodine. What people don't realize is 52 million people in the United States have hypothyroidism or hyper or Hashimoto's. 96% of people are low in iodine in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's just not in our food. And when people say, oh, well, I'll get it through my salt, that's the wrong kind of iodine. And most salts are full of microplastics anyways. And then also your body is having to break down the molecule to get that iodine out and to be absorbed, where my acceleradine is what you call monoatomic iodine. It is just one atom, and it's absorbed 100% bioavailability, and it gets right into the system. As if you are low on iodine, you have a high risk of depression. You have a higher risk of breast cancer and all the female cancers. You need iodine in your brain, in your heart. It's necessary in every single cell of the body.
For sure.
Women with low iodine have 3 times more breast cancer and fibrocystic breasts. And then the other amazing thing what iodine does is something called apoptosis, and that means increasing the accelerated killing of dead and dying cancer and disease cells. So what's awesome is iodine and oxygen are the only 2 things that can cause this. And the accelerated silver, some people call it liquid oxygen because it can have that effect in the body. So here you have the accelerated silver and the iodine, and you're just cleaning the body out, filling it with the nutrition it needs, helping make more ATP and energy in the cells. So you're going to feel a boost in energy. The acceleradine, what also is different from that versus other iodines, is it's also charged with true scalar energy. So these are frequencies, again, that enhance the healing properties of just the iodine. So you've got iodine, which your body needs, but then you're taking it to another level, and it's also filled with frequencies that help fight radiation exposure. So it's just taking it to a whole nother level. And one other thing that we had talked about a little bit with when you're talking about EMFs and chemtrails and other toxins, if your body is deficient in iodine, those receptor sites for iodine are going to be filled by radioactive iodine or even fluoride, bromine, and chloride. Those are in the same halogen family on the periodic table. So those are they naturally just go to those receptor sites. When you are sufficient in iodine and you have enough in your body, those things and those toxins don't have a place to go. So your body naturally detoxes from it. So that's the other thing, is we're entering this era of so much toxicity our body's not used to. If you're sufficient and have plenty of iodine, you're more protected. And then the other supplement that goes along with that, which you actually only need one bottle of it, and my whole family's done, is called Nuke No More. That actually zeroes out all radiation that you have in your body. It has tissue and regeneration and healing frequencies put into it. And these are frequencies that can zero out nuclear fallout and smog of radioactive isotopes, and the ionizing radiation from X-rays, commercial flying, to the smart meters, the cell phones, the electropollution, and that sort of thing. So there's been studies where you take just one bottle of it, tastes like water, so super easy to take. And not only were the subjects zeroed out, but they stayed zeroed out for 2.5 years after.
Wow.
So, and I mean, I would love to know if there's anything out there that can do the same thing, but it's pretty amazing. So that, in combination with the silver and the acceleradine, you are naturally detoxing your body from the radiation, from the toxins like fluoride and bromine and chloride. And these things are in our foods too, our food and our water that we don't even know. I mean, bromine is in Fresca and Gatorade and all breads that we're eating. Yep. And here I am. My son was, before he was a rower, he was playing water polo in a chlorinated pool every single day for 3 hours a day. I mean, I can only imagine what his body went through, because at that time, I didn't know about the iodine. So now we're going through the process of detoxing, that from his body. So those would be the main ones. And then they also take what's called oxalate, which is a tasty electrolyte mineral drink that has amino acids and zero sugar, and that's a no-brainer. So especially for athletes, and it's a good way to get nutrients in your kids because it tastes good. And Restore is another supplement I have them take. That just tastes like dirty water. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Yeah, it's Zach Bush's product, right?
Yep, Zach Bush. And it's funny because that one, I had heard about it when it first came out, and I thought, no, it's too good to be true. It's too good to be true. So I held out for about 1.5 years, and then I finally tried it. I go, gosh darn it, it really works. So I have everybody on that as well. And then with their food, we try as much as we can to stick to organic meats and lots of green veggies, lots of nuts are a good healthy snack for them. So with that, and then of course sleep, people underestimate the power of sleep. All this stuff means nothing if your body's not getting rest. So that would be another one that is definitely important. And then exercise, which my kids are all into sports, so I don't really have to worry about that. And the last thing that is really important to me is just dinner time together, just family connection, and sitting down and really checking in with the kids and where they're at. And they always say that that's their favorite part of the day. And if one kid's at a practice, we do our best, and we'll just, if there's only 4 that can show up, then 4 show up. But I would say family time is super important because it's going by fast. And as you know, it's just, well, your kids are older. I mean, it goes by so fast.
Way faster than you realize it does. That is for sure. Yeah, and those are super strong strategies, and I appreciate you bringing up so many things in that I've just been talking about for years, especially for our listeners out there, iodine, the iodine was definitely a big one for me. Because, and even like when you brought up, fibrocystic breast, I mean, that goes back 100 years in nutrition literature, that fibrocystic breast, it's essentially an iodine deficiency. And there's so many things that being deficient in iodine causes. And like you said, there's so many things competing for where iodine goes in those receptor sites in the body. And when it's basically 3 against 1, like you said, it's the bromine, it's the chlorine, it's the fluoride, and those things are hidden in so many products and so many foods and in our water, that unless you're supplementing with iodine, you are at a disadvantage. I mean, you just really are, and it's unfortunate, like you said, Sarah, that we kind of have to do all these things, but what's the alternative? The alternative is being sick, unfortunately, or just not performing or not being like at your best. Being that sort of 100%. That I feel like we were designed to be, to be like. So I really do appreciate you bringing up all of that stuff, and especially how you've, formulated and put it into products that people can use, and they can be confident, and they can all, in not only the effectiveness, but also in the safety of them as well.
Yeah, it was when we talk about the fluoride, it's been known to get calcified in the pineal gland, and a lot of people don't even know what that is, but that's what Eastern medicine calls your third eye, and that's the most important area to be cleared to have a deep connection with your spiritual being, whether you're religious or not. And people say as they start detoxing with the iodine and the fluoride gets decalcified out of the pineal gland in the brain, they become more enlightened and they can think better, and they're doing better in school, and they're being more productive. I mean, it's just opens the floodgates. And I don't know one client that hasn't first shown up at my door saying, "Guy, the brain fog, I just can't get rid of the brain fog." And I feel like our population is just in this fog, and through diet and all of these toxins, and they don't know what to do. Headaches and brain fog. And that's one thing that I really promote is the iodine, because it really has that effect on clearing out those toxins as you're clearing out your diet and cleaning things up. But and that goes back to, you need that physical foundation to then build on your mental and spiritual growth.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with you 100% there. So, so Sarah, as we wrap up today, you've dropped so much good stuff on us today, and I really do appreciate you for coming on the podcast today. I appreciate just everything that you've been through and how you turned, your pain into your passion. So thank you for helping so many people out there. And what I want to do is I want you to let our listeners know where and how they can connect with you. Maybe it's like your website or podcast or email or something.
My website is acceleratedhealthproducts.com, and that's ACCELERATD. And feel free to either email me through the website or Sara at acceleratedhealthproducts.com, and that's Sara without an H, so SARA. Happy to answer any questions if you think, gosh, I've got these health issues or these symptoms. What do you recommend? I'm happy to help with all of that. I usually don't do a lot of health coaching because I feel like people need just a direction to go in with supplements. But if someone does need health coaching or to be accountable, I'm happy to do that as well. But mostly just if you need help kind of figuring out what is needed for your health, I'm happy to help. I do have a podcast on YouTube under Accelerated Health Products, and you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and would love to interact as much as possible. And please share this if you know of anybody that may need it. I've always said I'm hopeful, and I pray that I do not get in front of the people that don't want to hear me, and I do get in front of the people that need me. So that's definitely my prayer and my hope for this as well.
Absolutely, and that's a prayer we should all share. That's for sure. And then what I'll do is, I think you are providing our listeners with a special, I think, discount code. And
Yep.
then what I'm going to do is I will put that link in the show notes so that you can, whether you're on your phone or you're on your desktop, you can just tap that and go right to the website and pick up not only very special products that are super, super helpful, but you get a little special discount on them too. So,
yep, 15% off. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Sara, it's been an absolute honor and a privilege to have you on. I'm so glad we connected. And I know that we'll have you back on in the future.
Awesome. I would love it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a great day, okay?
Thank you.
Hey, don't go anywhere. It's Dr. Jason Jones. Just want to close out this episode and let you know that, again, Sara has offered our listeners a special coupon code on her website, which is acceleratedhealthproducts.com, acceleratedhealthproducts.com. And if you go to the website and use the code HealthMadeEasy15, HealthMadeEasy15, you will get 15% off products on her website. So go there, check it out, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Bye-bye.